Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to just do a quick update about where we are in our homeschool. This will probably be the last video that I upload for the month of January. Everything else will be like pre-recorded videos in the month of February, and I'll be back sometime in March with an update as to where we are. But as I mentioned in a previous video, we are expecting, like, about time I post this video, I might be delivering or in the hospital or just coming back home. But it is week 28 within our homeschool. We are in the second semester of 5th grade. Super excited. And I am going to look at my notes. I wrote down a few things that I did not want to forget to mention. So we took off the week of the 16th of December, and we started back homeschool on January 3rd, 2019. So we had about 16, 17 days off. When we started back school on the 3rd of January, the rest of that week was really, really slow, maybe about an hour, hour and a half of lessons or activities. And then the second week of January, that's when we, kind of kicked in to our schedule. So I wanted to talk to you about, what we're doing during my hiatus and what we are doing when I come back and I start my instructional days again in the month of March. So in one of my videos, I talked about different transition periods, and I talked about our 5th grade transition and our 7th grade transition. I will link that video in the description box below. But for our 5th grade transition, the first semester, everything went smooth, as smooth as it could be. My son had to, learn how to do some things independently, utilize, resources to get things done. He was adjusting to the homeschooling thing. I was adjusting to the homeschooling thing. So we had some, issues and some roadblocks, but nothing that we could not fix, or nothing that, stalled progress within our homeschool. So for the second semester, January to the rest of the year, we end our homeschool, May 30th, May 31st, and we pick back up on in July, like the first week of July. We pick back up. But in our second semester of 5th grade, I did adjust a few things, okay? So we're going to complete the remainder of our 5th grade transition period. And the rest of the transition that we're going to do for 5th grade includes, like, I rearranged his agenda planner. So instead of using a spiral notebook to write down his assignments and his due dates and things of that nature, I created some planner sheets that he is going to use to write down his assignments. And we are also going to start tracking his hours for both instructional days and for his independent days. In addition to that, we're going to continue using Evernote. I talked about Evernote in 1 or 2 videos, and I explained how I utilize Evernote to provide assignments, or I create pre-recorded videos on lessons that he can watch on his independent days, or if I need him to watch it on our instructional days, he can watch it on our instructional days. But I do use Evernote, to kind of upload pre-recorded material, links to different resources that I want him to utilize for any particular topic or subject, and I kind of outline some assignments that I want him to do. So We will, continue to use Evernote in the second semester. We'll also continue to use various tools, technology tools like, Dropbox, email, chat, Hangouts, and things of that nature to retrieve assignments and to submit assignments. So we'll continue to do that during the second semester. We're also going to incorporate some formal parent-teacher meetings. We already do that now on Sundays, where we kind of talk about how do we do this week. So I have a progress report that we've been using throughout the year, and we sit down every Sunday and we said, how does the week look? Where did we start? Where were your successes? Where were your areas of opportunities? But for the second semester, we're going to include, like I said earlier, tracking of hours. We're also going to include tracking attendance. So during our parent-teacher meetings on Sundays, where we kind of, wrap up the week, talk about progress, we're going to calculate those hours and kind of look at what our independent days look like in terms of how long it's taking and how long it's taking for us to do our instructional hours. So we're going to, calculate that for the total day and by subject. And that's just going to help both my son and I get a better idea of how long it's truly taking us to actually do homeschool. And the reason why I'm doing those things, I'm using planner sheets for assignments, tracking hours, attendance, having more of a formal setting in terms of our wrap-up progress meetings on once a week. I'm doing that because in the 7th grade, that needs to be down pat. So I said, the second semester of 5th grade, we're going to start the process. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not using it for any particular, rhyme or reason. It's just getting him comfortable with it. And then throughout the 6th grade, he should be a little bit more comfortable with it, because we'll do that throughout the entire 6th grade. So when we hit the 7th grade and we start taking high school courses, when we have to start tracking hours, attendance, syllabus, work, grades and things of that nature, that process will be very smooth and efficient for him. So when we start, some other aspects of the transition in the 7th grade, those things we have mastered. So he's not trying to do too much at one time. So that's why we're doing that. It's nothing that I'm keeping for, formal reasons. It's just, getting him acclimated with it. Will we get it down packed in the 5th grade? No. But my expectation is by the end of 6th grade, he absolutely should be able to do it by himself. The meetings should go smoothly, and things should be accurate. Right now, it might be hit or miss, but we're both learning at this point. So let me see what else I have here on my notes. So yeah, I talked about his agenda. I did update and revise his agenda planner to include those things that I just talked about. Okay, I did update his agenda planner as well to include the things that I'm talking about now. And I will do a video, when I come back sometime in March 2019, and I'll show you his planner, and I'll show you my agenda planner, so you can kind of see how we are organizing everything, how I'm organizing everything. And at the end of the day, guys, when I'm doing this, it's just to simply keep a very informal record of what we're doing throughout the year. So at the end of the year, my goal is to take information from his planner, take things from my planner, to include, some of his projects and things of that nature, along with his progress reports and whatever else I decide to do, and combine it, get it bound, and kind of have that as a record for myself to kind of see our journey through 5th grade. And we'll do the same thing for 6th grade. And then again in 7th grade, when I have to, have to start keeping track of these things for courses that he is taking for high school credit only, it'll come naturally, it'll flow easy, and it's not a struggle, and it's not something I'm trying to learn how to do at one time. In a previous video, I talked about read alouds. So since we went back into our school year a few weeks ago, I made those adjustments that I talked about in that read aloud video. And it has helped so much, guys. So some of our books are in audio now. Some of our read aloud books are in audio. And some of our curriculum is also on audio. I also had a YouTuber, not a YouTuber, a viewer, thank you so much if you're watching this video, who gave me an awesome recommendation, which was to record myself reading the read alouds when I had time, and then kind of creating my own audiobook for that book, and then allowing my son to listen to it. That has worked out great. I've done it for smaller books, okay? Small, few chapter books. And that has worked out great as well. So thank you so much for giving me that tip. Let me see what else I have here on my list. Poetry Tea Time. We are mid-poetry tea time. That is from January to March of our school year, where we kind of remove the English language arts portion, the grammar portion, spelling, vocabulary, remove all that stuff from our homeschool, replace it with poetry. I do have a pre-recorded video that I'll upload sometime in February that kind of talks about what is Poetry Tea Time, how we incorporate it, and some of the resources that we use. So that video is coming soon, and I hope that you find that video of interest. Let me see what else I have here. Second semester is when we incorporate social studies. If you notice, the first semester, I didn't talk much about U.S. history and geography and things of that nature. Although my son does geography on his independent days, he's doing this book where he draws all the continents and the oceans, and he has to label them. So he's going through that, and then eventually he has to draw it and label it from memory. We're good to go on that. He's able to draw it and label it, but not perfectly from memory. So he's working on figuring out how to draw things the way he likes it, because he's a little meticulous when it comes to that, from memory. So second semester, guys, is when we incorporate, other aspects of geography, and social studies, U.S. history and government and things of that nature. So more than likely, I will do a video on what we're using for those things. And I do want to say that, although I have a spine, a book for U.S. history, I have a few books, a few resources, not a few, not a couple, like 4 or 5 for U.S. history, because I like to understand history from different perspectives. I want to understand it from the conservative perspective, from the liberal perspective, from the African American perspective, from the immigrant perspective. So we have books on U.S. history that are written from those various perspectives. And my goal is to talk about those perspectives. And I don't want to tell my children or my son how to think when it comes to certain things. I want to teach him the basics, teach him the principles, the foundations, and then we will together link things so that he can come up with his own conclusion. But of course, as the parent, you're going to guide them into a direction you would like to see them go into. But however, I still want him to have his own mind and analyze things himself so that he can come up with his own story of, what happened in history. Oops, someone is calling me. Let me decline that really quick. Okay. So with history, I do something called cross-curriculum. And cross-curriculum basically means for U.S. history, for language arts, specifically reading comprehension and grammar and things of that nature. And African American studies, I like to, although I have different curriculum or resources for them, I like to teach them in one sitting, one lesson. So 1 hour, and whatever we learn about incorporates all those aspects. It'll incorporate grammar. It will incorporate reading comprehension. It will incorporate, analysis. It will incorporate aspects of U.S. history and civics and government and African American history. So the first semester we did African American history separate. We did grammar, reading comprehension, vocabulary, all that stuff, kind of separate. But in second semester, we are doing cross curriculum, where within that hour, we're going to teach those topics and hit on various subjects. That way, our day is absolutely shortened. It's unnecessary for me to teach, 30 to 45 minutes of language arts, 30 to 45 minutes of U.S. history, 30 minutes of government, 30 minutes of African American history. No, ain't nobody got time for that. So we're going to put it all together and work it in a cross-curriculum fashion. Okay, let's see here. What else do I have here for you guys? So, for my hiatus, when I give birth, we're going to have 1 week off of homeschool. And then the following week, my son, from the end of January through the beginning of March, he will, do his own independent thing. Again, like I told you earlier, I like Evernote, so I utilized Evernote to prepare for his journey of complete independence, okay? So along with that, I'm still going to maintain our weekly wrap-up progress meeting sessions, which currently is on Sundays. Doesn't necessarily mean it's still going to be on a Sunday. It just depends on how I feel and what's going on. But my goal is to meet with him at least once a week, where we talk about what happened the previous week, what is it looking like for this week, what's going on, and we're going to do our poetry tea time together. So about an hour a week will be designated for him and I to sit and talk about progress, wrap it up, what's going on, and things of that nature. Between my husband and I, we are going to grade the work that he does throughout the week, and my son will also grade the work that he does throughout the week, and then we will go from there. But like I said, I do have a video on how we utilize Evernote in our homeschool, and we're just going to continue utilizing that throughout my mommy hiatus, where he is, completely independent. So we'll just continue using Evernote to kind of help us go through that process. When we come back in March and I, start my instructional days again, we are going to have a few changes within our homeschool. Currently, I teach, meaning our instruction days are Sundays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. We're going to drastically reduce what we do on a Saturday. So instead of, having our, 3.5 to 4.5 hours on a Saturday, we're going to cut it down to where we're going to just have homeschool for specific things like we normally do anyway, but we're cutting it down to 90 minutes. So we're going to hit on 1 or 2 subjects for 90 minutes. And then he's going to start taking his STEM classes and his chess classes. So although I'm not teaching him, it won't be a full day of instruction. He's still doing homeschool stuff or things that I can count towards homeschool. He's going to do STEM, a STEM class, which can range from, things related to math, science, technology, engineering. He likes robotics. They do a lot of robotics there. But STEM-based learning, okay? So we'll count that for, science and math. His STEM class is 1 hour, and then he has chess on that same day. The classes are back to back, and that's another hour. So he'll be with me for 90 minutes, and then he'll go to these two classes for 2 hours. It's outside the home. They are paid classes. I had to pay for them. They meet every Saturday. You pay on a monthly basis. So we'll start with the first month and we'll see how he feels about it. If he likes it, we'll continue to do that. If he doesn't like it, we will, keep him in the one he likes. And if he doesn't like any of them, we will find something else to do, or we'll just go back to our normal Saturdays of having 3.5 to 4.5 hours of homeschool with our traditional subjects. Okay. And again, for those who may not know, the reason why I homeschool on Saturday and Sunday is because I work full time. I go into the office once a week. I work at home 3 days a week, and I'm off 1 day a week during the week. And that day is Wednesday, and that's why we homeschool on Wednesday. Okay. My son, if he's of age where he can stay home, while I'm here. But for some reason, if he's not here with me, then he goes to this thing called play care. So whatever his work is for his independent day, he just takes that work and he goes to play care. And it's like a babysitting service where you can go and drop them off. And if they have schoolwork, he has a bin where we put all his schoolwork in for that day, that independent day. Then he'll go off there. Also, when I come back from my mommy hiatus, we're looking at bringing somebody in to come provide assistance. So instead of bringing my kids to play care or to a daycare or to a babysitting service, because I do work at home, we're going to look into and try it out, bringing somebody in our home, because now that we're going to have 3 kids, it'll end up being cheaper to actually bring somebody into the home, like an au pair or a nanny of some sort. And they can watch the kids while I'm here working, I can't believe it's actually cheaper to do that, but it is. Prices for daycare for an infant and a 2-year-old, rip off, expensive. But hey, gotta do what you gotta do, right? So, yeah. Okay, so I'm just checking out my notes here to kind of see what else I wrote. Oh yeah, since I'm taking away some of the subjects that we would traditionally do on Saturday in order to accommodate the STEM class and the chess class, that also may mean that our other instructional days, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, may be extended by 15 to 30 minutes to make up for that additional time. So that may happen. It may not happen. And the reason why it may not happen, guys, is because we're really ahead of our language arts curriculum and our math Saxon curriculum. So I don't even think I'm going to need to extend those days at all. But I need to do a video on how we utilize Saxon math, because I'm not doing it the way it's meant to be done. I'm doing it the way that it works for us. So yeah, I will do a video on that. I do a unit study approach using Saxon math. Before we started the Saxon math book, I did a 3-month unit study on fractions, decimals, percents, fractions, decimals, and percents. Yeah, fractions, decimals, and percents, everything about it, right? So now more than the first half of the book is on fractions, decimals, and percents. So I realized after the first semester that my son knows this. So, excuse me, I just let him take the test. Although I don't utilize the test for maintaining grades, we don't maintain grades right now in the 5th grade. We're not going to maintain grades in the 6th grade unless he takes an online course, which he will for pre-algebra. We'll do that in the 7th grade when he's taking high school credit courses. But I let him take the Saxon math test so he can test out the chapters. And he's tested out a few chapters. So we're right now we should be in lesson 70 something, but we're in lesson 90 something because he's testing out. So what I'm going to do when we come back from my mommy hiatus is I'm going to look at the chapters, what he's learning in all the chapters, and do a unit study. So if it's going to be on integers, he knows integers already, we'll test out. If it's going to be on, circles and circumference and, things like that, then I'll do a 2-3 week unit study on whatever that is. And then if the next 5 or 6, 7, 8 chapters spiral through those topics, he's going to, we'll do the unit study on that subject, and then I will let him test out. That way we'll be done with that book. I think in April, a month ahead maybe. But yeah, but again, I'll do a video on how we use Saxon math. Don't let me forget. I may forget. I probably will forget. So hopefully what I provided now is sufficient to help you understand how we utilize Saxon math. I also did a pre-recorded video on my toddler learning. I don't like to say I homeschool my toddler because I don't really homeschool her, although I have activities and things for her to do. I don't think a toddler needs to be homeschooled, but preschool, tot schooling, that's what I call it, but I guess you can call it homeschooling. But I have a few videos already about our routines and stuff like that, but I did do a pre-recorded video that'll be posted in a few weeks that talks about, or that gives you a summary of everything that I do in terms of our routine and our focus of the day and things of that nature. And although, I have a routine for my toddler who is now 2 years old and 5 months, 2 years old and 4 months, she'll be 2 years old and 5 months soon. And when I post that video, she'll probably be 2 years old and 6 months. But although I have a routine, for my 2-year-old, I really want you guys to know that you don't need curriculum to teach a toddler or a preschooler. It's all about, having fun, go outside, be simple, be free-spirited, run and fall and play and dance and sing, get dirty, get wet, laugh, read, lots of hugs and kisses, paint, scribble. Use your imagination. Utilize the things you have in your home: pots, pans, buckets, boxes. Just utilize what you already have to create fun little activities for them to do. Get on the floor with them, roll around with them, do some Play-Doh. Don't let my videos of what I do in my routine and videos with other parents who utilize curriculum for tot schooling and toddlers and preschool. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that. I'm just saying you don't have to do that. So I don't want you to feel stressed out, if you're not doing that. And you're like, oh my God, this child can read at 3 years old. Or, oh my God, this little girl knows her colors and her numbers and she's 2. Yes, I put in the time for that type of stuff. However, you don't have to do that. Those things will come naturally. So don't compare your little one to anybody else. And there's no right or wrong way of doing it. You just go with the flow. Let your child be, don't impede on their natural ability to learn and explore and to fall and to fail and to get back up and try again. Just observe them, sit in the background sometimes. Your job is to facilitate the love of learning, facilitate learning, give them the things and the resources they need, or, that are around your home or the dollar store, put things together, and then just let them be, let them play, and just get comfortable with messes. Get comfortable with messes. I think I'm a very organized, tidy person. So I had to, that was a struggle for me. I really had to get comfortable with the mess of a toddler. Okay. But at the same time, I like to incorporate life skills. So I teach my toddler, teach my kids, you tidy up after yourself. You dropped it, you picked it up, and everything has, its rightful place. So find that spot and put your things up in its rightful place. So we never get that messy to where it's uncontrollable or I'm embarrassed to have somebody come visit me or anything like that. No, it's hardly ever like that. But that's because I taught my son from a young age, clean up after yourself. And my 2-year-old, I teach her that as well. So it becomes easier for me. Okay. Let me see. Right now, I am in the process of going through the research and budgeting phase for our homeschool for the 2019-2020 school year. I'm not planning anything yet. I'm just researching, what's going on in the 6th grade. What do I want to do? And also preparing our budget for that. I did do a pre-recorded video on how I budget for homeschool. That'll be uploaded pretty soon. Like I said in a previous video, I did do a few videos for you guys so that I can, make those available to you guys during the month of February, end of January, month of February. I didn't want to, be completely off the grid for a month or two. So I did do a few videos for you guys just to kind of share what I was doing and what's working for me. The Texas Homeschool Convention is coming up soon. It's in early March of 2019. I'll be there, God willing. So if you're going to be there, chat me, email me. Maybe we can meet each other live in person. Let me see. So I go back to work in April. I'm so excited. I'm taking a extended, needed break. So from the 2nd week of January through the 1st week of April, I do not have to go to work. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. So I'm excited for that, y'all. So let me look through my notes. I want to make sure I hit on everything for you guys. If you want to share anything, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But let me just look. I want to make sure I shared everything with you guys. Some of those videos that I uploaded that, isn't homeschoolish, like these goodie bags that I made for our labor and delivery nurses and the nurse who takes care of me and my baby postpartum, the postpartum unit. I made some goodie bags for them, and I ended up making a nice big basket for the nurses station because I had a lot of things left over, and I went and bought some other things to kind of, thicken up the basket. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video about what I've had in my bag for labor and delivery, and the video that I made of postpartum care. How do I go about taking care of my body and myself, after delivery. So hopefully the information was useful to you or useful to someone who that's about to have a little one. But guys, I am super excited to bring this bundle of joy into the world. I want to thank you guys for sending me really nice messages. I've been receiving a lot of gracious messages of you guys appreciating me for the content, the advice, the things that I share with you guys. That's what I want. I want to be able to be of value to you. I like to say, if you can pull one thing from each of my videos, I'm good. If you can share at least one thing with somebody else from each of my videos, I'm good as well. So I want to be of value to you. I want to be of service to you. I want to bring you content and share information and advice that has worked for me. If everything I say is not going to be perfect, I might make a mistake. Things that I say you might disagree with, and that is okay. I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with you letting me know that in a respectful manner. Hey, I'm good with that. But I just want all of us to be a community of homeschooling and after schooling mommies and parents in general who are here to inspire, encourage, motivate our children to be the best that they can be, right? And to be successful, whatever your definition of success is, whatever your definition or expectation of be the best that you can be, whatever that is, I want to help promote that, through the information that I share. And at any point in time where I'm no longer useful, or I feel as though I'm no longer being useful, and my channel changes to something completely different, like doing other things, like, I don't want to say, like, I don't want to give examples because I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But if my channel changes, I don't want this channel to change. I may, feel like doing something else with YouTube, and I'll create a different channel for that. But I still want this channel to be utilized as a resource for you and to your friends and your loved ones who are going through this homeschooling or after schooling journey. So that's it. That's the update. Be blessed. Like always, don't let this homeschooling thing stress you out. You may feel like it stresses you out sometimes, and that's okay. Lean back, enjoy the moments, both good and bad, and keep homeschooling on, okay? Keep homeschooling on. Give yourself grace, give your children grace, and remember, if you have to just say, I'm done for the day, be done for the day. You don't have to force yourself to homeschool or force your children to be homeschooled. It's okay to say, we're done for the day. We're done for the rest of the week. It's okay to say that because you're never behind in homeschool. You can always catch up in homeschool, okay? So again, I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you for watching my videos, for continuing to subscribe, and continuing to share your thoughts and the things that you do within your homeschool, because we read the comments, and I think a lot of people find comfort when they know that other people are going through or thinking about the same things that they're going through and thinking about. And we give tips and strategies and techniques and recommendations to kind of see what works best for you. It may not work best for everyone. I always like to say as well, what works for my household may not work for you. What works for my kiddos may not work for yours, and vice versa. But that's okay. To each his own. We're all unique in our own special way. And that's what makes every one of us so awesome. That is what makes our homeschooling journey so unique and full of greatness. But okay, I'm gonna go now. But again, guys, be blessed, be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. And you, as always, make it a great day.